Well, hello again, everyone. Today we are diving into one of my all-time favorite things, M-A-T-H, math. Give it up for math. Amy knows how excited I get when it's time to talk about numbers. So y'all, if you're expanding, if you're growing, numbers are vital to your success as a business. And yet most coaches, consultants, and service-based business owners focus on all the wrong ones. Which ones really matter as you are scaling your business? Let's forget the vanity metrics and dial into profit, baby. Let's get started.
Welcome to the Grow Your Business for Good show. This is a place where coaches and consultants gather so you can learn how to lead a world-class business that does not tax your time, your energy, or your financial resources. We are your hosts, M. Shannon Hernandez
and Amy Hager of the Joyful Business Revolution. And our number one goal is to bring you clarity and insight on how to grow your business for good. Well, hello. We are expanding with our expand method here this season. So if you haven't caught our past episodes, go check them out for season 6. We use the expand method with our Joyfield clients whose businesses are already working well, but they want to expand without burnout and imploding. And we are focusing today's episode on the letter N, which is numbers. So expand is each letter has a meaning to it, and we've covered all the other letters so far, but today we're talking about numbers. And so I'm curious, what numbers are you watching as a business owner? I frequently ask that question. We frequently ask that question. And a lot of times we are going to hear people say things like their website traffic, their social media followers, the size of their email list, how many likes they get on something, how many loves they get on a post. And really, those metrics are just vanity. And they might make you feel good, but they don't actually tell you anything about the health of your business. So as we dive into the letter N today on our expand method, we want to talk to you about how we track revenues, expenses, and celebrate profits. And we also teach our clients to do that as well.
I love it. Y'all, give me some math pie. I am happy. Amy gets really scared when I get really into numbers. I think spreadsheets is a love language.
I think it is, and I think it's part of your love language. Yes, definitely. And I want to make sure I say, like, I'm not very good at math. And so when we talk about, numbers in our business, it is really nice to have it boiled down to the revenue, the expenses, and celebrating the profit. And we've made it very easy for our other non-math loving clients. So yay.
Yes. Y'all don't have to be great at math. All right. What you do have to know is how much are you spending? Mm-hmm. That's expenses. How much are you bringing in? That's revenue. And how much are you keeping? That's profit. That's it. And Amy, it still floors my mind. No judgment here, but still floors my mind. It's probably because I'm a numbers person. How many people actually don't understand the difference between those three words and they're running businesses, right? So let's dive into how to make friends with your numbers as easy as blueberry pie. There's kind of a couple traps here, and we're going to talk through them, but many business coaches shout these two phrases from the rooftops when it comes to scaling, and it creates big problems. So the first one, have you ever heard anyone say, well, just delegate it by hiring out? Mm-hmm. Or just eliminate it, which may or may not be the right answer, right? Yes. Delegating and elimination, we're going to talk about those. All right. And the reason this actually causes these blanket pieces of advice cause more harm than good to business owners is because they're delegating and eliminating tasks without looking at the numbers.
Right.
Okay. It might be based on other things, but when it's time to look at your numbers, but we need to do that before you delegate or before you eliminate. Okay. And one of the things that I think is really important here is it doesn't need to be as complicated as you think it is. But having a good little simple spreadsheet, which we give all of our clients, right, is that we can look and say, okay, you love how this program is selling, but you don't have enough profit left over. What can we do to increase profitability and value, right, at the end of the day? And that's a much better solution than throwing the whole thing out and starting over again, which is the problem with, well, eliminate it or delegate it, right? So I want everyone to think about making better decisions about elimination, about delegation through terms of the real math and the real numbers. Amy and I brought on a new client in the past month, and y'all, she kept saying, I'm not making any money. I'm not making any money.
Yeah.
I'm not making any money. And Amy, what happened when I actually made her go put all the data in from January through March?
She made $17,000 in quarter one. And it was interesting because she was even saying to other students, she was saying just in general conversations, I'm sick of being broke ass broke. I can't remember how she said it, but she says it way better than I do. And I was just like, you've got to stop coming off with that persona, because now you know that you're not broke and you are making money. And if you keep saying that you're broke, you're going to start attracting broke people. You're not broke. But it was interesting how, one, she knew the numbers. Once she knew the numbers. Two, she had to change the narrative of how she was describing herself and her situation. And so I think now she's really looking at, all right, what can she actually execute on and what can she delegate with? And, she's talking about starting a podcast, and we're trying to decide what is the best task to delegate in this process in the podcast and who's already on her team that maybe can help her. But we would have never been able to make this decision, and she would have never been able to change the narrative of how she viewed herself and her business if she never actually sat down and looked at those numbers.
Yeah. And I've often said, and I'm very open about it. To this day, my brain will tell me I'm not making money in my business. And so what do? Every Monday, I go tally up the money and I put the total in my calendar in green highlighter with a great big dollar sign next to it so that I can remind my brain that the spreadsheet isn't lying.
Right.
Right. And we have a lot of people, right? There's so many people. We have this narrative. I am of, 13 years in business, having nearly $1 million a year business. I'm very clear this narrative is not going away anytime soon.
Right.
And I'm also very clear that the system that I help our clients with and myself with to calm my own nervous system is to look at the numbers.
Right.
Quit avoiding the numbers that matter. Like, seriously, if you've been counting likes and comments, please let's stop and let's go look at numbers that actually matter. All right, Amy, let's talk a little bit about profitability, because there's a slew of business coaches, which I am very vocal about, who love to glorify the revenue.
Right. And so, they say they're bringing in 100K months or whatever that may be. But when we ask them what was their profitability, they're like, well, what do you mean? And so if we don't actually look at the profitability of your offers and of your programs, you could be losing money. And a lot of times when clients come join us in Joyfield, this is one of the first exercises that we do with them. And they realize they may only be making a couple bucks once we look at the profitability of their offers. So usually we start them off with giving them a raise, but they've never dissected to actually see, is what I'm offering actually profitable? Is my one-on-one coaching, is my group program, is it actually profitable when you look at the time and energy of executing on that offer or on that service? And so we've really got to focus on profitability instead of revenue, because if we're only making a couple bucks an hour, is this business actually worth it?
Absolutely. So who needs a numbers makeover? Call me up. Let's do it. First question I'm going to ask you, what's your monthly revenue and what's your monthly profit? And listen, if you can't answer that right now, you're probably in the 99.8% of the people who can't. Don't make yourself wrong for it, but just be committed to changing it and getting some help. All right. The other thing we track in this brand and we help our clients track is time off. Now, you might be thinking, what in the hell? Well, here's what Amy and I know. We are much better when we have time off. We need extended chunks of time off so that the business can grow and expand. We need to be able to unplug. We try and unplug Friday through Sunday. Sometimes we are checking in with each other just because it's been a busy week on Friday or early Saturday morning. But it's important. And so the things that are important to you, you will learn to track. I track revenue, I track profit, I track time off. And that's pretty revolutionary, y'all. We don't call ourselves Joyful Business Revolution for nothing. All right. And I had a mentor who helped me see what you track is actually what you can change.
Yeah.
And when I worked with her 5 years ago, I literally had a time off report card where every week I had to put the number of hours I took for time off. And we call this uncontaminated time off. Uncontaminated time off would be like, I don't take my computer. I'm off in the Camino in September. I'm literally like taking Facebook and every other thing off my phone so I can just hike and do this spiritual pilgrimage with the people that I've wanted to do this with. All right. Am I probably going to have business thoughts? Yes. Am I going to stop and write them down? No. Uncontaminated time off, you give your brain a break, right? We are visionary CEOs. We can't expand. We can't grow. We can't step into that bigger piece of our future vision if your brain is always on and doesn't have time to relax. All right. So how much time off are you taking? Do you meet with clients every time they ping you somewhere? Are you checking your email on days and blocks of the day when you want to not be checking your email? Are you working behind the scenes and telling people you don't work that much? Right? You need to unplug, y'all. You've got to double up on your time off. And I know it seems like the most irrational thing. But I don't know if you know this, Amy, when Ann Bex came in to our program in November, the very first thing I said to her is, welcome to the program. You're taking 30 days off.
Yeah.
And she's like, what? I've invested in this program. What are you talking about? I said, you need a break.
Yeah.
You have been going nonstop and you need a break. And y'all, I don't think she was very happy about it at first, but she did check in with me towards the end of December. And she's like, thank you so much for telling me to take that month off because I have new perspective. I know what I want to do now. And I feel like I can actually do it.
Exactly.
Right? So
And
not only do you get a raise, you usually get a vacation when you work with us. Like, what more could you all want?
well, and a lot of times too, early on when clients start working with us, either in our Joy Field Business Program or in our Content Personality Club, I'll get these emails from them or I'll get these DMs from them, and they're like, "Oh, I feel so behind. I feel so behind." Y'all, our programs are a year long because we want you to take time off. And because we want you to honor your energy and flow. And you're never behind in a program when you're working with us. We want to make sure that we're meeting you where you're at and that you're giving yourself that time and freedom to flow when you need it. And a lot of times when people will come back from vacation, that will be the first time they take a vacation. That will be the, oh my gosh, I'm so behind because I took a vacation. No, you're not. You're right where you're supposed to be. And we've got time for you to implement, time for you to get clear on your messaging, and we will get there. But how did it feel to have that uncontaminated time off where you didn't think about your business? Because a lot of times people still check their emails when they're on vacation before they start working with us. And I say, no, you can't do that. So it's really important. And I think as you are providing services to your clients, making sure that you communicate what your uncontaminated time off is. And, I get messages all weekend a lot of times from our students. I'm not getting back to them until Monday. And I always say, we are not saving lives. 99.9999% of the time, any of our clients are not actually, doctors or surgeons or somebody who's going to save someone's life. And so it is okay that I wait and get back to them on Monday. And I just go through but it worked for their flow to touch their business Saturday or Sunday. So we've really got to make sure that we communicate that to our clients as well.
Yeah, I love it. All right. So if you are listening to this, here's what I want you to know above all. I want to help you grow the business that you deserve. And I know it's a strong word, but I believe you deserve a business that is abundant, that is joyful, that allows you to live out your best life possible, to do deep, meaningful, and fulfilling work. And I have created a tool to help you see what might be working in terms of expansion and what might your blind spots be. And as a business growth strategist, we've helped thousands of clients turn their businesses around and create the business that they never thought was possible. And it really does focus around this expand method, which is why we are doing this season on this podcast at this time. So if you would like to take the assessment, you can go to joyfulbusinessrevolution.com/scorecard. Set aside about 15 to 20 minutes to take this assessment. There's 20 questions in total. All right. You will get a beautiful scorecard result. And we're always happy to meet with you and talk about where your blind spots are, things that you hadn't thought about before, and what you're doing well. Like, we need to remember to celebrate those things as well.
Yes. Well, so for our next episode, we are going to be talking about delegation. So if you've ever tried to delegate to a VA or an OBM or another team member and things just went to shit, well, you're not alone, because it happens. So I want you to stay tuned for our next episodes. We are going to explain how to avoid the delegation trap that keeps your business stuck. Until then, we'll see you later.
Adios.
Bye-bye.